Hey folks, today I'm unboxing something a little different. It's a pair of in-ear monitors, really high-end, in-ear canal earbuds, basically, for those of you who are not familiar with in-ear monitors. And I need to preface this unboxing, and it's not just an unboxing, because I've actually taken it out already and used it a little bit to get a feel for it. So it's also a preview, because it's hard for me to resist. I love audio. I've worked in audio for a long time before I was a tech journalist, and I've been using Etymotic products for a really long time. So they were very kind to send me this review unit. This is their latest, flagship model. Came out about a year ago. They pinged me randomly, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm an Etymotic customer. So yeah, I'd love to try them out." So before we open this, I want to give you a bit of perspective. And I want to give you a bit of perspective with this. These are my 20 or so year old, possibly a little older than 20-year-old, Etymotic Research flagships from the mid-90s. The ER4P. And the ER4P, using the special mushroom tip, that is no longer made by Etymotic, so this is probably my last ones. As you can see, they do wear out with time. So these are my ER4Ps, and they are my reference in-ear monitor listening devices. They are the best I have in my collection in terms of being as neutral and as, close to reality as possible in their sound. And I love them, and you can see how worn out my plug is. A lot of the gold plating is just actually gone. And so, I'm showing these to you because I want to show you the new ones so you have a perspective, because the new ones are basically the latest version in this model range and the latest iteration from Etymotic. So this is the old one, ER4Ps. They're 20 years old. I've had them for about 20 years. They're my go-to reference for audio quality. As you can see, the cables are removable. And, there is, of course, the tips are removable. There's a bunch of different tips. All of these are going to be very similar on the new ones. In fact, the tips are interchangeable with the new ones. And so what makes these so unique? What is it about Etymotic that is so special? Etymotic Research is a company that specializes in making equipment for hearing research. So they make, the equipment is used by audiologists, the people who do hearing tests in labs for fitting hearing aids, for example. And they have a ton of experience creating really high quality, really precise drivers, the things that make the sound inside the earbud. And these are balanced armature drivers. They're the best kind you can make. And really, really high-end earbuds from other, or I should say in-ear monitors from other companies like Shure and Ultimate Ears and others use multiple balanced armature, and sometimes they look like a little weird because of it. This is kind of like the purest, simplest form of this. And Etymotic prides themselves in making the most accurate, most high-quality balanced armature, single BA, in-ear monitors. And again, you stick these in your ear canal, this kind of compresses, and these chips are interchangeable. That's kind of the preface. So these are my ER4Ps. They're 20 years old. They sound phenomenal. They're some of the best in the market, and they are now being kind of replaced with the ER4SR for studio reference. So as you can see, there's some similarities in the design. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. Let's unbox this first. So this is what it says here. For 30 years, blah, blah, blah. You've got, tells you what you've got, what you expect. And here's some numbers for those of you who care about numbers, which don't really mean anything in audio. I mean, obviously, there's a minimum of numbers you want. And that's the box, right? So as I said, I've opened these, but I left them in a state where I could show you the unboxing experience. So you just pull this open like this. There's nothing in here, okay? Just a cool little waveform here. And now we've got what's in the box. And as you can see, the first thing you get is, you know, congratulations. This is a performance certificate. For each earbuds, they actually measure the performance and tell you what your specific serial numbers of earbuds sound like, right? And on the bench. So they want to make sure that they're closely matched. As you can see here, the scale is really, really small. They're extremely closely matched. This is the difference between the two channels. Okay, so there you go. They're manufactured in the summer of 2017. And they tell you what equipment they use to make the measurements. All right, so as you can see, they're not fucking around, okay? All right, now, this is what's in the box. And mostly it's this pouch. It's a hard case that has all this stuff in it. You don't really need to carry the hard case. These are really small, as you can see. So there's really no point, but it's nice for unboxing. And this is what's in here. So before I get to what's in here, let me actually remove the earbuds. So as you can see, they're attached. There's nothing here. They're just attached to this. So I'm just going to lift this very gently on both sides and remove the box. We don't need it. There's nothing left in here. So first we have the earbuds. And this is what I mean when I say I tried them, but I didn't really unbox them because I still have the cord wrapped in its original shape. I just put an extension on that, stuck these in my ear to get a feel for them, listen to them for a few hours so I can give you at least an impression. And here you can see the similarities, right? You've got a very similar design. Let me bring my old earbuds back. Now ignore the tips. Again, they're not earbuds, they're in-ear monitors. Ignore the tips because those tips are standard and interchangeable. But as you can see, the design is very similar, right? The new ones are made of metal now, no longer plastic, and are a little shorter, so they don't stick out of your ear as much. Remember, this part here goes into your ear canal. And then the cord is very similar. You see you've got a similar kind of braided cord until these are all now tangled. So let me untangle them. They're Tangle Magnets. So basically, the old ones kind of terminate in this green little junction. There's nothing in here. It's just, you know, going from thin to thicker. And this new design is very similar as well. It goes from thin to thicker. And this is also metal this year, not plastic. And then you've got the standard cord. Now, eagle-eyed viewers of this video will have noticed that there's only 3 connectors on both the old 20-year-old model that I have and the new one, right? And the reason for that is because this is about high-quality audio. There is no microphone or remote control here. We want the purest and simplest path to your ears. It probably doesn't matter so much if they added a remote, but here's the cool thing. Just like the other ones, you can remove the cables, right? So this is a different connector design, but that means that theoretically Etymotic could make a cord that has the 4 prongs, and on the little cylinder here, where is the cylinder? The cylinder has like a microphone and a remote, right? So I'm not going to dock them for this because this is not what this is about. This is audiophile level of performance, and normally audiophile headphones don't come with an inline remote and mic. All right, so that's those, and let me explain about sound quality in a second, my experience, and let's go through the rest of the box. As I said, it's like half preview, half unboxing. So first there's a pouch in here. This pouch has not changed. I've got the exact same pouch from my old ones. It's in really ratty shape, the old pouch I have. And that's my biggest gripe. I don't know if this has been improved in 20 years, but this kind of felt finish here kind of like degrades over time and flakes off like in tiny little rubber pieces. And it's worrisome to me that the company has not improved on that design. There's like a cute little Velcro pouch here to put your the adapters and filters and other things you might want to bring along, and I'll show you these in a second. But so there's a pouch, and the pouch hasn't changed, which is a little disturbing and disappointing because again, these pouches wear very quickly. I've gone through a few of them for my old ones. The in-ear monitors themselves don't wear out. So let's have a look on. I'm still on my original cable. So here's the manual, and it just shows you basic stuff. I'm not going to go through it all, but it shows you how to change the cable. It shows you how to change the filters, which is a really important thing, and I'll show you all this in a minute. And it shows you how to mount the ear, the tips. So there's 3 type tips included. There's a foam tip, which is like an ear plug, and there's a small 3 flange and a large 3 flange. For me, I usually use a large 3 flange, or I use the foam, but the foam wears out really fast and does affect the sound quality a little bit. So my preferred one is no longer made, and it's the mushroom, which here is a bit smaller than an earplug, and looks like a mushroom, and they last a lot longer. They are kind of like an earplug that's more durable, basically. Unfortunately, Etymotic no longer makes them, so I'm disappointed with that. Again, I don't want you to think I'm disappointed. This product is phenomenal. I'm going to get to the sound quality in a second, because that's what really kills it, okay? So, that's basically just the manual. Then we've got important. So this is the thing about in-ear most in-ear monitors. You can also get them custom fitted to your ears by Etymotic, by an audiologist. This is true of any high-end in-ear monitor. You can get it custom fitted, so that instead of like a standard tip like this, you have a custom tip that matches your ear. But if you want good sound from an in-ear monitor, from this kind of, I don't like calling them earbuds because they're not, but this kind of hearing device, you need to stick it in your ear canal properly. And so it tells you here how to do it right, and it tells you how you can support. And this is in French as well, since obviously they sell this in Canada, which is French and English. So here's nothing on this side. So there's a bunch of stuff on this side. This is where the earbuds were, the in-ear monitors. And so the first pouch has the different tips. So you can see how there's an extra pair of the small 3 flange. There's 2 pairs of the large ear flanges, and then there's the foam, ones that look like earplugs. And again, as a reference and size, here is the little mushroom, so you can get a feel for. Okay, and then here is the new ones with the pre-mounted mini, and you can see they're same as these, right? So anyway, that's what's in this. I'm not going to open it. Then the other thing that's really important is in the next little pouch, and that's 2 things. The first thing is 3.5 millimeters, 6.3 millimeter adapter, right? So you can put this in a big headphone jack, the traditional old style. And then there's this, and this is super important. You can see there's like a little container here with these little green things and a tool. These little green things are filters. They prevent the wax in your ears from clogging the in-ear monitor drivers. So every few months you end up replacing them both on both ears, and you use this tool for that. So I'll show you in a second. On my old one it's a little easier, but you remove the tip, and you can see in here there's this little green insert. I don't know if you can see it, it's green, and inside is a filter. And if your earwax gets in there, it doesn't damage the inside of the armature, the BA, the balance armature. So you've changed these filters with the tool. Again, the tips and filters are compatible, since this is the 20-year-old, flagship of its time, ER4Ps. The new ones are going to have the same thing. If I can remove the tip, you can see there's the filter. It's green, right? And you put the tip back, and when you put these tips on, you really have to make sure they're inserted all the way and that the flange matches. So again, I was complaining about the case not being very durable, but one of the things I love about the new ones is that this is all metal now. The casing is metal, and it's, anodized aluminum. The old ones were plastic, although they've been very durable for me. People said that, they've had problems with the plastic not like breaking over time. So mine are fine, but there you have it. The other thing, the thing though that's a little disappointing on the new ones is that the removable cable is not color coded. So you actually have to read on one side of them. It says R, there on this one, R, right by my fingertip there, R. And then on this one, it says L, right? So left and right, you have to kind of like look and see or touch and feel. Whereas the old ones, it was super easy. It was blue is left, red is R, sorry, right is red, easy, right? So that's it looks less goofy, more discreet, but at the same time, that was really awesome, the color coding. When you're in an airplane in the dark, you're trying to go to sleep, you could still see the faint red and blue hue and know. I use these a lot when I fly. They're way better than Bose Quiet Comfort, like way better than active noise cancellation, simply because they're like an earplug in your ear, and there is no coloration of the sound quality because there is no active electronics getting in the way. So this is the purest conduit from whatever's coming out of your headphone amp and your ears. In fact, it's kind of like the closest to having implants directly in your brain that would produce sound. This is what my experience has been with Etymotic. So let's talk about the difference in sound quality between these two. Now, I'm a bit of an audiophile. I used to work in audio, so, and again, I'm a longtime customer of Etymotic, so obviously I'm a little biased here. My ER4Ps, these here on the right, that are 20 years old, still sound as good today as they did back in the day. Trying to have them in one hand in a stable way. And frankly, I have no faults to them, but I have to say that, they're predictably neutral, which is great. They don't emphasize anything. And so that means they're not very bass heavy, which, is how it should be, because neutral actually means, no emphasis of anything. So a lot of people are like extra bass. And so if you like extra bass, Etymotic is not where you should go. The thing that's really makes these strong is the imaging, the clarity, the dynamic range, the transient response. And so how have they improved it in 20 years with the SR Studio Reference? The P in ER4P for my older one stands for portable. So they're optimized for portable music players, basically able to be driven by lower power amps. And the SRs have the same sensitivity, so that doesn't make any difference. So how they've improved it in my little limited an hour or two listening test with the new ones, wearing the bigger ear flange. I actually used the mushrooms on these because I like them, so that it was a fair comparison. They are even more detailed. There's more information. There's more soundstage. There's more clarity. The medium range is particularly amazing. I find that the high-end response is a little more precise on the new ones. That could be an age thing, though. 20 years of listening might wear out the drivers a little bit. And then the bass is pretty much the same. It's there. It's really precise, but a lot of people find them lacking in bass, assuming you've done a good ear fit, because you need to really seal your ears to get bass out of them. So the cool thing is that Etymotic makes an ER4XR, not for studio reference, for extended range, which actually has a bit more bass heavy. So you could try those out if you're interested in, a slightly more bass. But again, if you're looking for basses, these are not the earbuds. This is not the company. This is not the brand. These are not the in-ear monitors you're looking for. If you want the most, I would say clinical, but it's not really clinical. The old Etymotics that I have are a little more clinical sounding to me. The new ones are a little warmer, and actually I welcome that warmth, but not warmer in a coloring the music way, kind of more in a very neutral way. So if you're looking for the most realistic, reproduction, the one that's closest to the reality, basically. No emphasis of any frequencies, and a very, very accurate reproduction. Etymotic's the way to go. And the SRs are kind of blowing me away. They're taking everything that I like and I'm used to in my ER4Ps, my old ones, and kind of cranking it up a tiny notch. And it's immediately noticeable for me, but I'm not sure it would be noticeable for anyone else, simply because I've been listening to the 4Ps for so long that I know what they sound like. So in a nutshell, I'm really impressed. I'm really happy. There are a few things I would have done differently. I would have color-coded these ends so that I could distinguish the left and right easier. I'm very happy about the metal construction. Perhaps have an optional cord with a microphone and remote for those people who want to use these with, the latest modern devices like our phones. The other thing I would say is, and again, I don't know, maybe Etymotic has improved the case design now so that this soft finish doesn't flake off over time, but it was happening a lot in the with my previous ones, and that's one thing that makes the earbuds super durable, the in-ear monitors, but the case that you put them in, not so durable. So that's it. That's my quick preview of the Etymotic Research ER4SR and the accessories and everything that was in the box. Here on the right, again, are my old ER4Ps, 20 years of amazing listening pleasure, particularly on airplanes. And on the left are the ER4SR. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video. I've got another unboxing coming up. I'm going to do 2 more live videos today, so stay tuned for more. I like to do my live videos live, so there's no editing. And, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and more importantly, listen to the podcast. These videos are here to support my podcast. mobiletechpodcast.com is to show you the devices I speak about in the podcast. So mobiletechpodcast.com, subscribe. We're on iTunes, we're on Pocket Casts, and everywhere. It's a pretty popular podcast, so check it out. Back soon with more unboxings and live video. Cheers.